Hello everyone, my name is Becca and welcome to Yellow Cat Studios. So this is my first real video of 2022, so Happy New Year. I hope that 2022 is treating you well so far. So we started the new year with quite a cold snap. It's warmed up a bit now, but I heard that there's supposed to be another cold snap coming this week, so I'm very excited for this project. So you've probably heard of or seen by now the Oodie or the blanket sweaters. Here's a photo for reference. I personally know a few people who have them and they look super comfortable. I am always cold, so I thought it would be fun to try making one. Now I actually saw Coolerpa April do this recently, so I will link her video down below as well. I think this will be a fairly straightforward project, so let's jump right in. Okay, so I have this big queen-sized fuzzy blanket. So I'm going to use this to make the blanket sweater. I also have this big oversized hoodie that I'm going to use as a guide to cut the shapes out of my blanket. Alright, so first I'm going to cut out the body pieces. So I have my blanket folded in half and I'm using the hoodie just as a guide for the size, and I'm basically just going to cut a big rectangle piece. So next I'm going to cut out the neckline using my hoodie. The neckline for the front is going to be a lot lower than for the back, so just remember that if you're making one of these yourself. So what I'm just kind of doing is tucking the hood on this hoodie so that I'm just getting the hemline, and I'm going to use that as a little guide to cut one piece of fabric, which will be my front piece. So next up I'm going to put these right sides together and sew along the shoulder seams. But if you want to make a lining for yours, just cut it out the exact same. Use your cuts here to measure on your lining fabric so that they're all the same. And I would recommend watching Coolerpa's video on this because she does a lining in hers. Okay, next up I'm going to cut out the sleeves. So I am going to do it where it tapers off because I did order some ribbed knit cuffs. They're not here yet, so I don't know if they're going to make it into the video, but I want to make the sleeves so that I can attach those when I do get them. Okay, so my sleeves are cut out. So my first step is to sew my top seam of my sleeve together, right sides together. For me, my top seam is the more curved side, but you could also make the sleeves just completely rectangular and it would work just fine. But because I wanted to add a cuff, I wanted it to taper down. So I'm going to sew top seam on both my sleeves first. Alright, so the tops of my sleeves are sewn together. I've only done the top, and what I'm going to do now is line up this seam with my shoulder seam on the body. Line them up right sides together. So my arm is pinned to the body, right sides together, and I'm just going to sew just along the arm, and I'm going to do this on both sides. sleeves are attached to the body now. At this point, you have to decide if you want a pocket in the front because it's going to be easier to attach it at this point before the sides are sewn together. So I'm just going to flip it. First, I'm going to measure this pocket so I can see about how big I need to make mine. Okay, so I'm going to make my pocket a little bit bigger than this one, and I'm going to cut it on fold so that it's even on both sides. That's a little too long. Get a little bit smaller. Alright, so next, take the front of your sweatshirt, figure out where you want your pocket. I'm doing mine about 14 inches down from the neck, and also make sure that it's centered. So first I'm marking where the top of my pocket is going to go, but before I sew it on, I'm going to hem my edges so that all my raw edges are on the inside of the pocket. Pocket is sewn on, so now I'm going to flip it right sides together, and now I'm going to sew the bottom of the sleeves and the side seams. So my sides are all sewn together, and my next step is to make the hood. So I'm going to, once again, use this sweater to trace out my shape, and hopefully the size will kind of match the neckline. We'll have to see. Okay, so as always, we're gonna put it right sides together. I'm gonna sew along this top curve, and then because I'm not doing a lining, I am going to hem the open side. Okay, hood is sewn together. The front is hemmed, which I think looks very nice. So, moment of truth. I've got to flip my sweater right sides. No. Yes? Please hold. Okay, figured it out. So I have my sweater right sides out, and I'm going to pin my hood to it, right sides together. So I have my center back marked, and I'm going to line up my seam with the center back and pin along. I have a feeling it might be a little too big, but we shall see. Okay, so I was right, my neckline is a little bit smaller than the hood, so what I'm actually going to do is cut the front of my neckline down so it creates a little bit of a V shape, and then I'm going to overlap the hood just a little bit at the bottom where the point of the V shape will be, and hopefully that will all work out. So I'm just going to pin the hood first so I know whereabouts I need to cut it. Please work. Now to sew it, I'm going to start at my middle back and sew one side, and then go back to the middle back and sew the other side, just so I don't get it moving weird The hood is sewn on and it's looking like a real sweater. So my kind of last step is to trim the bottom so that it's all even and hem it. Unfortunately, my cuffs haven't come in yet and they won't make it in for this video. I could hem the sleeves, I'm not going to, but if you're not doing cuffs, you can just hem them, or the fabric should be okay to just leave without a hem. I don't think the fabric would fray too much. But yeah, if you want to see the finished sweater with the cuffs, keep an eye on my Instagram. It might still be a while until I get them, but I will eventually put those on. But until then, I'm just going to hem the bottom and show you what it looks like. Can you see the fluff? And I've already vacuumed once after cutting a bunch of the fabric. It's all done! Well, almost all done. I still have to do the cuffs, but for now, they're just gonna be loose open sleeves. But it's so comfy, so cozy. Obviously mine is a little bit different from the Oodie. I don't have the lining, and mine's not quite as long and big as theirs are. I'm pretty sure with theirs you can like tuck your legs in underneath as well, which I don't think I'll be able to do with this one. But that's okay. It's still super cozy. Will definitely keep me warm for the rest of winter. And the hood actually worked out pretty well, adding the little V in front. I was a little bit worried there that my neckline was going to be too small, but it's all good. I'm very happy with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you make one, tag me in it on Instagram at YellowCatCreations. If you like this video, give it a like. If you feel like sticking around, subscribe to my channel. I do lots of sewing, DIY, and other content. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, afternoon, or evening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!